You can use the Remote Desktop Protocol Client, or simply RDP client, to go ahead and create a remote connection to another computer that you are attempting to troubleshoot. All right, and it's where you literally will have a session where it's like you have gone and sat down at that computer, but without ever having to leave your own desk. So let me show you how to configure this RDP client. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just simply click on Start. And then in the Start window, I'm going to just type in Remote Desktop Connection. And you'll see I have an app here called Remote Desktop Connection. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Here you'll see there's some very basic information where you can populate what computer you would like to connect to. You can put in the name of the computer, but only if that computer exists in an environment, let's say on your network, where you have name resolution in place. Otherwise, you may have to type in the IP address of that computer, and even in that case, you have to make sure that networking is configured to be able to connect to that IP address. Other than that, it automatically populates the username of the user that you're logged in as, right? Lieberman is the user I'm actually already logged in as. And it does say you will be asked for credentials when you connect. If necessary, it will ask that. But there are some more options that we have here. You'll notice at the bottom it says Show Options. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And let's see what options we have here. First of all, we have General, where we have, again, the computer name. And this is where I can actually now change the username. So if I know of a user that is specifically authenticated to be allowed to make this remote connection, I could enter it here. So I'm not bothered with it when I connect. You'll see here there's a checkbox that then save credentials so that you don't have to be bothered again and again and again to log in. Here I can save the connection settings. I'm going to actually hold off on that for just a moment. All right, because we're going to finish with that. All right, so just remember, we're going to come back to this tab. Let's go to the next tab, though. You'll see there's a series of tabs here. We have the Display tab. This is where you can choose what resolution you'd like to have the remote connection window operate in. It defaults to full screen. And more often than not, that does end up being what you want to use. Unless your machine has a super high resolution and you're connecting to another machine where you have the room to have smaller windows, maybe if you want to do multiple connections, that would really be the only reason that I could think of that you'd want to go down to a smaller resolution. Okay, but we're going to leave it at full screen. If you have multiple monitors, by the way, you can say use all my monitors for the remote session, which does then allow you to have a much bigger view of that session. You could choose the color depth as far as how quality the color is going to be. And one of the reasons you may want to reduce that might be for bandwidth issues. And there's a checkbox here for display the connection bar when I'm using full screen. All right, that just basically means that we're connected with full screen. You'll see a little bar at the top that tells you that you are connected to another machine, since it's just going to look like a regular computer. Now, the next tab is local resources. And this is where you can control what's going to happen with some of the local resources on this connection. All right, as far as the audio, as far as what you want to do with the remote audio, do you want it to come through? You have the different keyboard settings, right? What keyboard combinations are going to actually function? Things like the example they give here is Alt-Tab to switch between applications. Again, it can get a little confusing because do you mean Alt-Tab on this computer or do you mean Alt-Tab on the remote computer? So sometimes you want to configure those so that you can have keyboard shortcuts for your own local machine and the remote machine, as well as other local devices and resources like printers or the clipboard if you want that to carry through into the remote session. Then we have the Experience tab. And the Experience tab has to do with making sure that your connection stays as smooth as possible based upon the connection that you have. You'll see here that it defaults to detect connection quality automatically. I happen to like that setting. It seems to work pretty well for me. But if you know that you have a very specific type of connection, like way back in the old days when we would have a 56K dial-up modem, if you chose that, well, then it's going to tell you that none of these options are allowed because they would slow down the connection, and we don't have a very fast connection to begin with. Whereas if we have a sort of high-speed broadband connection, 2 to 10 megabits, it's going to say, hey, let's go ahead and have the desktop composition and the visual styles come through. All right, and you can do these manually as well. You can choose manually which ones you're going to do. But what I like to do is, like I said, just leave it at detect the connection quality automatically. Let the system decide what you should and shouldn't be able to have. And a couple other things you can also do to help with the experience is if you want to have persistent bitmap caching, which basically means when you're just simply looking at the desktop and nothing's moving, just go ahead and cache that as though it's just a bitmap, so we don't have to just keep downloading it. And you can choose whether you want to reconnect if the connection is dropped. Do you want to automatically reconnect, or do you want to have to manually reconnect after it's dropped? Now, there is an advanced tab, but we're not really going to go into it here. I'm just letting you know that this is where you can configure server authentication and your connect from anywhere settings, something that's outside the scope of this course. So once you have set all of your settings and you know exactly what you want to do, back here on the General tab, this is where we can choose to save the connection settings. So if I go ahead and click Save As, and I'm going to just leave it right here on the desktop, and I'm going to say Demo RDP and click Save. You'll see here that I now have that sitting on my desktop. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and you'll see that I have an actual icon for Demo RDP. And anytime I want to go into the connection with the specific settings the way I set them up, instead of clicking Start and then Remote Desktop Connection, etc., I could just click on this icon right here on the desktop, and it would take me into my remote desktop connection. So that is how you configure the RDP client.